Howdy y'all. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at some creepy and strange TikToks that are going to leave you saying, daggum, let's giddy up.
So this is pretty interesting. A journalist by the name of Leland Nally called every single number in Jeffrey Epstein's Little Black Book. He made around 2,000 phone calls, and he had a lot of rather engaging conversations with people who knew Epstein. And I gotta say, these conversations really do paint a picture of the man, and they also present a timeline. You see how he became the monster we know him for today through these conversations. It's funny because they talk about a stand-up comedian. I actually kind of met the stand-up comedian that the journalist talked to, Bobby Slayton. He performed at the comedy club.
Isn't it kind of crazy to think about how you don't even hear about anymore with the Epstein list? At least you don't hear about it as much. So it's just kind of like one of those things that made it cycle and went through, and then now it's like kind of been put on the back burner and trying to be swept under the rug, I kind of feel like. So it's kind of interesting
to work at before coronavirus shut it down. Like I said, engaging stuff, check it out.
I encourage everybody to do their own research. Hey, check it out like the man said and kind of see where it leads. It's kind of interesting. That's a lot of phone calls, 2,000 phone calls to make. But I think hopefully they found out some well worth of information.
Theory that Adolf Hitler didn't kill himself and he fled to South America instead. According to documents declassified by the FBI, they have not located Hitler's body, nor is there a reliable source who can say he is dead. So the theory is that in the last days of World War II, Hitler used a series of tunnels to escape the bunker to get to the nearby airport, which took him to Spain, then the Canary Islands, and then to his final stop, which is believed to be somewhere in Argentina. And once Hitler was safe, he had a body double murdered in the bunker so people would stop looking for him. Recently in Misiones, Argentina, there have been 3 remote stone structures that have been found deep inside the jungle. And archaeologists believe these to be safe houses for Nazis that were on the run. The archaeologists discovered a box inside of one of the walls. Inside the box was a Nazi coin from the Third Reich.
You know, let me know down in the comments if anybody's heard this theory. I've heard a little bit about it, not in this much depth. But I did hear about how, you know, there's a theory where, yes, Hitler had a body double and it wasn't really him that died down in the bunker. So it's kind of interesting to think about, you know. And there was another one as far as with bin Laden. I haven't done too much digging or looking into it, but there's been photos circulating where people are claiming to have seen bin Laden, or like, you know, more more recent photo of him. So it's just kind of interesting.
As well as a photo of Hitler himself. They also discovered multiple vials of medicine, more specifically medicine for chronic stomach pain. And according to that same FBI document from earlier, Hitler was in fairly good health except for his stomach ailment, which he dealt with his whole life. So there were Nazis at this site in the past, but was Hitler one of them? Were bombs planted in...
Let me know what y'all think of that theory, and if y'all kind of think it holds water or not. And who knows, maybe it does. I don't know.
Inside the Twin Towers, according to this theory. So the theory is that the government was involved in 9/11 so America could go to war and pass huge national security bills. So they placed bombs inside the towers to ensure they would come down. On the day 9/11 happened, there were countless witnesses who insisted they heard bombs go off.
Bombing on the building, not second plane.
I'm not going to say too much about it. Just watch the video and form your own opinion. I'm not here to say which way or the other, but isn't it kind of interesting that people said that they heard those kind of sounds going off, like, and then other videos where allegedly people didn't see any airplane actually hit the towers? It's just kind of interesting, especially if it's not just a few people saying it. You know, it's a good number of people.
Was another explosion, and
we got down to 6th floor. There was like another shake or another explosion.
So 2 planes and explosives that were in the building.
The bomb in the building started clearing up. The bomb in the building started clearing up.
The bomb went off. You can even hear explosions going off in audio and video recordings taken that day.
You want to call your mother or something?
I'm just saying that it doesn't sound like a plane hitting a building. Not saying that it's not. This is all speculation, but it just doesn't sound like it.
Some people believe you can see the explosions as the building collapses, and these puffs of smoke are evidence of the bombs going off. The way the towers collapse is also identical to what a controlled demolition would look like, and this is only one of the many theories surrounding 9/11.
Strange.
Let me know what y'all think. I mean, does it make sense? 2 + 2 = 4. Or does it?
Here's Unsolved Mysteries from Every U.S. State, Part 33, Kentucky. On March 3rd, 1876, residents of Olympia Springs, Kentucky began to witness large chunks of meat falling from the sky. The strange meat basically appeared out of thin air, and the crazy thing is, no one could tell what animal the meat came from. Even after some brave residents tasted the meat, they claimed they had never had anything like it before. A piece of the meat was even preserved and is now on display at the Transylvania University in Kentucky, but the origin of the meat has never been truly solved.
Hey,
So if they've got it on display, I wonder if they've done any kind of test on it to see what kind of meat it was, what animal it came from, if it did come from an animal. And y'all let me know down in the comments below. Some meat comes flying out of the air. Y'all eating it? I'm not, especially in today's world. No, thank you.
So you ended up here, so obviously you think the aliens are real, because they are, of course, right? But did you know that there's many that are actually trying to help us? In movies, they're often depicted as something that we should be scared of, that want to destroy our planet. And for some, that's true. But not all. Talk about Lyrans, the lion people. Lyrans are a humanoid with a cat head, and they came from the Leo constellation. They were 12-dimensional beings. Sadly, their galaxy got destroyed, and they were redistributed as energy into other galaxies, including Earth. It is said that the Lyrans actually built the Egyptian pyramids. Theory is wrong, and the Lyrans actually built the pyramids in 15,000 BC. Explain why the Egyptians worshipped these cat humanoids. Including Sekhmet herself, who actually wasn't a goddess, she was an alien trying to help humans. The Lyrans actually used the pyramids as a portal to go back to the Leo constellation.
This Sphinx was a carving of a lion.
I guess we'll never know.
Creepy Coincidences, Part 1.
You know, I think about it, the Sphinx. I haven't thought about this in the longest time, but it does kind of, in certain aspects, kind of represent a feline in some characteristics. And then let me know down in the comments below, how many of y'all believe in aliens? Do you not believe in aliens? Which ones do you believe in? And then also, my opinion with the flying saucers, I don't think that every single UFO sighting has been extraterrestrial. Just my opinion. Let me know what y'all think.
JFK and Abraham Lincoln. They were elected to Congress exactly 100 years apart. They both became president exactly 14 years after being elected to Congress. Both were killed from gunshot wounds to the head. Both were succeeded by Johnsons. By the way, both of these Johnsons were born exactly 100 years apart. They both also died on a Friday. Their last names each had 7 letters, and they were both famous for their civil rights efforts.
Unsolved Mystery.
I have heard the theory about there's so many coincidences between JFK and Abraham Lincoln's passing, where it was just so coincidental. It's not like it's just one or two. You got at least 3 or 4 different things. As far as, especially with the people that committed the acts against those 2 individuals. One was fleeing from a warehouse going to a theater. One was going from a theater, trying to flee to a warehouse. That's just one of the details, and it's just go do some looking into it. It's crazy the coincidences between both of their passings.
Crop circles. They used to pop up on the news, movies, and in every type of media, claiming aliens were trying to connect with humans through a link.
If anybody's seen the movie Signs with Mel Gibson, comment down below, let me know. Because as soon as I started seeing these crop circles, and made me think of that.
Language unknown. They reached the height of their popularity from the 1980s to the early 2000s, but after cameras became more and more common, along with the use of drones, people performed these crop circles live on TV, and the mysterious nature became a lot less compelling. Flying rods. Like crop circles were a phenomenon in the early video days, a lot of the times caught on camera as elongated creatures with multiple appendages that could never be physically caught, so it was suspected they would travel through dimensions, only in ours for a few seconds. But when professional video cameras captured these alongside of the game cameras, it turned out to be moss distorted by motion blur. The face on Mars, discovered in 1976, little detail was uncovered as their image power was tiny compared to today. With recent cameras, we can see the hill is, well, just a hill. And people were affected by the common tendency of seeing faces in objects. You know about that if you see my video on pareidolia. So there you have it, solved mysteries that were probably pretty mysterious in your parents' days. Conspiracy theory.
Let me know what y'all think of those crop circles. And let me know if y'all think that every single crop circle that has ever been recorded, documented, investigated, whatever have you, has been legitimately an authentic crop circle. And what do y'all think they could mean? Do you think it's their way of trying to communicate with us? And if so, what could they be saying? I mean, obviously, I think it's a more peaceful effort if it really is, because if they're willing to try leaving a message. But I would think that if they're as advanced as they are, they would know that to some degree that we can't decipher what is exactly the same. So I don't think has been seen that not every crop circle has been, or some of them has been man-made.
Theories that people actually believe we live in a simulation. These theories suggest that we live in a giant simulation. So scientists think that in the future we will be able to simulate universes. But that makes us think that maybe it has already been done. And we are the ones that actually live in a simulation, and we don't know that we are not real. And even Elon Musk has said that we are probably living in a simulation. The next conspiracy theory is that the moon doesn't exist. People say it is actually just a projection, and some people think it's also a hoax, and it was created to distract people from the existence of Nibiru, which is a rogue planet that will cause the apocalypse. Do you believe that any of these are true?
I did recently come across a video where it was, I think, back in like the 1800s, somewhere like that, where the moon all of a sudden out of nowhere just popped up and came into existence. And I'm not saying one way or another, I think we live in a simulation, but just to kind of put out there, just, you know, for thought, like think about whenever the game Pong came out, and then how, you know, the effects, the visual effects on that game and games in that era, and then fast forward 20, 40 years from then, and where we are now, think about how advanced games look. It almost looks like you're watching a movie, a lot of the games that they've come out with. So it's just crazy to think that, like, you know, like that movie, I can't think of the name of it, with Ryan Reynolds, where he was the NPC that thought he was a real person. And what if they were trying to tell us something in that movie? What if there was a secret message they were trying to tell us? If anybody y'all know the name of that movie, please comment down below, let me know, because I cannot think of it to save my life. Anyways, we'll get back to it.
Strangest Unsolved Mysteries from Every U.S. State, Part 5, New York. On March 9, 1929, the police were called after people reported hearing terrible screams from the apartment of a man named Isidore Fink. Police arrived just minutes later, and they found that the doors and windows of the apartment were nailed shut from the inside. Upon breaking into the apartment, police found Isidore Fink's lifeless body with 3 bullet wounds in his chest and his wrist. However, when police searched the apartment, they were unable to find the murderer, a gun, or fingerprints. This was confusing to the police, as the murderer had nailed all the exits to the apartment shut from the inside and could not have escaped. It was like the murderer had somehow vanished into thin air. While detectives looked for hidden doors and secret entrances to the apartment, they found none, and to this day, no one knows how the killer escaped.
That's very interesting. You know, think about it. Like, unless they pulled a Houdini, you know, like how did an individual get out of there unless there was some sort of secret trap door, some sort of escape hatch, something like that. That doesn't make sense if everything was nailed from the inside shut. I don't know, it doesn't make sense. But then, you know, that's the end of our video for today. I hope that y'all enjoyed. If you did, please like, comment down below. Let me know what you thought about the video in its entirety or any of the aspects of it. Subscribe, and don't forget to turn on that notification bell. I greatly appreciate it. Y'all have a good one. Be safe.